Every creative person hits this moment where they realize tradition can be both a gift and a trap. For us, that happened just before our first ever professional gig. We are the Not Quite Big Band. We're not your average big band, but it didn't start that way. Let me show you where we began. We were a big group of mates who all met at university, all from different musical backgrounds, all with different life goals and ambitions. But we shared one thing in common. We just all loved to perform. And in 2022, we had the opportunity to do that together for the very first time, when we opened a speakeasy in Manchester, and it was the perfect home for a classic big band. So we became one. We donned the suits, we learnt the music, we studied the lingo. We were polished. Well, it sounded a bit like this. And that is how we started every show. And we thought we were doing something that no one else had done. But what we were actually doing was preserving a stereotype. Hang on, this is my favorite bit. Thank you very much. The problem, just before opening night, a couple of weeks before, we had a bit of a realization that what constituted for a great night out in the 1950s might not necessarily fully translate to the 2020s. So people were coming for nostalgia, but times have changed. We knew that they'd want something a little bit different, a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit moving forward. And we just knew that 2 hours of vintage swing just wasn't going to cut it. So we had a bit of a choice. Do we stick with this brand that's tested and tried over decades and trust that it works? Or do we break away from tradition, break the rules, and do something ourselves? To me, that sound is Vegas. It's what we were trying to achieve. It's dim chandeliers, it's cigar smoke curling in the air, or the scent of whiskey just seeped into the walls. We'd done it. We were polished, sellable, and safe. I know, Charlie, it is very sad. It is very sad. We thought we'd cracked this code. But in trying so hard to become this stereotypical big band, we found that we lost ourselves, we'd lost some identity. And this genre of big band and swing, it's what I've listened to growing up, it's my favorite. But even I knew it wouldn't work not like that. We didn't just look like a Rat Pack tribute band, we started to believe we were one. Have you ever gotten so good at playing a role that you forgot you were playing one? In this era of big band and swing, it seems to have come and gone. And I couldn't figure out why. Is it, do people not enjoy this anymore? Is it not accessible? Or had bands maybe not evolved? And that's when it hit us. We were looking at tradition all wrong. Tradition isn't the finishing line. it's a foundation to build on. So what do you do with a foundation? Well, you build on it. It's time to stretch the box, to move the format, and not to discard the past, because it is never that, but to stretch it in a way that feels like you, and to break the rules and break tradition to really make something yourself. And what does that look like? Because we were still in a speakeasy at the time, we couldn't just switch up like that. We were still in the suits, and people had their expectations. They weren't coming for a rave, as fun as that would have been. So, if we were going to do this, we were going to have to do it stealthily. So, we started with a bit of Blues Brothers. Still in the suits, still in the swagger, but with just a little bit more grit. And then we thought, let's go even more daring. How about a bit of the king, Mr. Elvis Presley? So then, we've tried something a little bit different. Why don't we just keep going further? It seems to be working with this big band sound. So how about something still jazz adjacent, but with a little bit of a Latin twist? And we knew that was even more movement because we got people swaying. It's happening right now. We got people in the audience swaying. And we knew we were onto something. How about something recognizable? Okay, so it worked. We'd got everyone up and dancing in this room, but we needed something a little bit different, and we were getting brave at this point, let me tell you. So how about something a little bit slower? How about something for the romantics in the audience? And even when we pulled this one out, it just felt right. We'd moved it in a way that was still honoring our tradition with the big band sound, but it was just a little bit different. Ready? Okay, so we'd got people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a couple more, and I reckon if we could save that applause all the way to the end for one big one, we'd love that very much. Thank you so much. So, I mean, it was working. We can tell right now we'd moved in a way that was our own sound, but still honoring our roots. So then we realized we could push it further, and we could go all out party. And when you've got a room full of cocktail sipping swing fans, on their feet with their arms in the air, singing Don't Stop Me Now, like it's the last night of their lives, you realize you kind of hit a bit of a breakthrough. Dressed like a Rat Pack band, we still honored the roots, but by the end of the night we weren't imitating the past, we were transforming it. We'd evolved, and it worked. We sold out 50 shows at the Residency. We were booked for weddings and corporates and everything else. We thought we'd hit this formula, and we thought we'd cracked it, and then just when we thought we were getting to where we wanted to be, We hit another ceiling. Beautiful. Because behind the scenes, I wasn't just the frontman. I was the booker, the marketer, the person pitching the show to the venues. And I'd bring what we had to someone promoting a venue, and they'd say, well, we've already got a swing band this month. Or they'd say, we don't fancy any more Rat Pack tribute bands. And I'd say, no, you don't. You don't understand. We're not that. We're so much more than that. But they saw the black and white posters and the tuxedos, and they didn't quite see us. So something had to change, because we had this incredibly electric, high-energy show trapped inside the wrong rapping. And our identity was holding us back. We'd evolved the music, but not the brand. We were breaking this tradition, but still wearing it off stage. Because we were never just a swing big band. We were a group of mates from university who got together to enjoy playing music. And maybe that was the reason this show worked. Maybe it wasn't the music. Maybe it wasn't the genre. Maybe it was the joy, the passion, and the energy spilling out into the room. Maybe the music was never the heart of the show. Maybe the heart was the show. So we did something that terrified us. We stripped back the brand, and we changed our messaging, and most importantly, we changed the way people perceive us. Because now our future is open. We're not confined to a style or a genre. We're free to explore. I mean, we could go on to do anything. If you wanted festival-style sets put together, it could already be in the works. And maybe this doesn't apply just to a Rat Pack brand. Maybe this applies to every business and to every individual in this room. Because maybe once you start letting the heart of your brand, or the reason why you do what you do, come to the forefront, maybe that's when things can change. Because you see it everywhere. You see restaurants done in the same menu for 20 years. Because it's what people expect. Or retailers clinging to shop fronts when half their audience is online. Maybe, just maybe, if you let the why of what you do come to the forefront, maybe your whole future opens up. Maybe when you start to break the rules, that's when you can really do something that is you, that isn't trapped in this velvet-lined cage. So my question to everyone here today is, are you preserving tradition, or are you breaking it? My name is Dakin. This is the Not Quite Big Band.